2, 1. Boom. We're live.
Everything worked.
Everything's going to work this time. We restarted the computer. And we killed it over here so you guys didn't have to wait for the few minutes for it to restart. So anyway, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going. Somebody's little Oscar this morning?
Yeah.
Little Oscar. But you got your coffee now.
After my coffee, I'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll be fine after her coffee. But anyway, welcome to episode 29 of Mind of the Founder, and where the girlfriend, the partner, and I answer questions that you guys submit and what we get asked all the time. And what's going on?
We have a few updates about what's going on in the next 2 months and some questions.
Yeah, and some questions. So we'll just jump right in. All right, question one.
Question one. So I'm going to stare this way because I have questions on my monitor. What's your favorite and least favorite thing that are you responsible for on a weekly basis?
What's favorite and least favorite thing
that you're responsible for on a weekly basis?
Like on a task.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, because it is true. I talk about I love what I do, but there are definitely things that I like doing less.
Oh yeah. I know which things you like doing the least because you explain about it.
Anything to do with finance, I don't like, but that's more big picture, just because that also just takes a lot of consuming of your time.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you spend like an hour on finance. But I'd say on like the type of the task I hate, I don't, as much as I like it, but I don't like it having to go through and when we get our product from the manufacturer and then it has to be sorted to the graphic.
It takes so much time.
It takes so much time, and we do everything through Excel still because we're not on that level to be able to afford the programs. And it takes a lot of time, and that's probably my least favorite. Favorite thing, I like collaborating. Like I don't know, like everything.
Collaborating, like talking to team members?
Team members, yes.
Oh, okay.
Team member collaborating. Like I like when you and Tyler and I like the meetings that you and Tyler and I have together, and then especially when Diana's there, like getting the team together and coming together with that, because that to me is always like we're fucking, we're putting it forward. It's not just an idea in my head or somebody else's head. We're actually just making decisions. So those are that's what I like. What about you? Least favorite and favorite?
My least favorite, I think it just has to do with things that I don't feel like I'm qualified to do, like tasks. But off the top of my head, like photo shoots. Because
least favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's so many moving parts. Like you have to find suitable models, find a photographer, and not only that, because we don't have a budget, find people who are willing to do it for free that are of a certain, or for trade of a certain skill, quality, and so like that's super stressful. It's just stressful to like be in charge of that, and then like not have a budget for a stylist. So I'm also the stylist, but I'm not really that great of a stylist because I don't come with a wardrobe that a stylist comes with, or like a stylist goes and pulls items from like boutiques or designers, and so they have cool stuff to accessorize, and so I have to communicate with the models like, oh, can you please like send me photos of like X type of items that you have in your closet. And then I spent like this shoot that's coming up on Tuesday, I spent a week photoshopping like looks together based on our shirts plus her bottoms and like trying to make it work. And you're limited by what the model has, and then just hope that it turns out well on the day of the shoot because a lot of time was invested. And
if you've ever been in this industry, you understand that all the time that you spend on photo shoots like that, 99% of the time is going to be a waste. Like I've done it where you put together all these like storyboards and this and that at the time, because the more you do that, the better chance you have
Yeah.
of pulling off a successful shoot.
But then you have to be like realistic, because if you get too ambitious and you're like, we're gonna shoot this many looks and we only have 3 hours of the model, and that's where I fight with you, because I'm like, we don't have enough time to do that. And you're like, let's just bring everything. I'm like, but we're not gonna get through it. So it's very stressful to work with like different people who have like very high expectations, and I kind of have an idea of how it's gonna go.
And you also realize too, like a lot of us, because the photographers, right? Like in our idea, in my head at least, I won't speak for you, but it's like if we take 10 photos of a person in a shirt, there's bound to be one of them that will work. And I'm up. Let's fucking just change. Where photographers, they want to make sure they get that right pose, that right angle. So then, so the photographers like to take a little longer. And then also during it, you've always got the photographers and the models, which rightly so, nothing wrong with it. But they all, hey, will you get me on with my camera on social, which is great. Good. You need that because they're promoting you as well. And like, that's the purpose of this. But so it's, me, when I think 3 hours, you got to take into consideration. And also, you don't just get into it and just start shooting, right? I like to talk to the people, become comfortable. What's going on? How's things going?
So I'm always like,
and she's always like, let's get it going.
Bad guy, like, okay, can we like move on to the next look? And he's all like, oh, I'll take that. Like, that's not. And it's like, dude, come on, stick to the plan. But it really depends, like. Photographers all have different shoot styles, and models, they all have different work styles, and you have to respect every member of the team. So like my job is to
making sure you get your job done.
My job is to make sure that things are shot, but to make sure everyone's like happy at the same time. So for me, like that's my least favorite, because it's like always a different team, so I have to learn different personalities each time. So it's stressful. It's not
one day, babe.
fun.
One day you're gonna have a budget, and it's gonna be way easier.
Yeah, just any
I know it's rough. I know it's rough because I was having to do it before you joined. So
but
and then so now your favorite.
My favorite would just be the coming up with the ideas for marketing campaign stuff, where we're just like, oh, let's reach out to like these people for sponsorships, or like let's reach out to these media outlets and pitch like stories based on this angle. But then like actually, doing the outreach, but then getting not even rejections, just being ignored. that like makes it a bummer. But the actual initial like idea phase and like getting excited and doing.
You don't like when you come to me with ideas and I shit on them, though, do you?
Yeah, because you're not very tactful in the way.
But I don't do it. I don't do it in a mean way either. But I don't do it to all your stuff. You have a lot of great ideas, Avi, but all of them can't be great. So no, those are good answers. The creating, everybody likes to create, right?
Yeah, it's good to create, but then when it's time to execute,
it's like we hate executing. But that's the thing. We still have to execute, and that's what we do. So, but. If we just had systems, like that's all it is. It's just we don't have our systems yet, and that takes some time for businesses to get. So, all right.
Yeah.
Next question.
This is for you. What's the hardest thing you had to do in the military?
Hardest thing I had to do in the military. Wow, there's a lot of micro hardness and a lot of macro hardness there. Depends, like, I'm saying if you're talking about it was extremely this freaking forever like mile march with 70-pound packs and boots and camo and gear and weapon, that's physically hard. But
1 mile?
No, not a mile. No, I'm saying mini miles. Oh. When you're doing mini miles in rough terrain, that stuff's hard. Like, but so it depends on what it means with the question. Like, what was the hardest thing? I think, I enjoyed. I was fortunate enough that I wasn't married and didn't have any kids in the military, so I was able to just any deployment that came up, I would be able to just, oh, I want to go. And I wasn't leaving anyone, you know, outside of my family, but which they live in Tennessee anyway, and I didn't see them often. So, so it was easy for that, but it's mentally sometimes, boot camp was mentally draining because they really fuck with you, like bad, like, but mentally. And once I had to get this, you know, head mind, you know, or this head, my mindset, I don't know how far in it I got it, but once I got it, it was good. And I just realized that they cannot stop time. It's the one thing they can't do. And no matter if I'm doing push-ups, if I'm running, if I'm getting yelled at, if I'm having to, like, you know, clean something with a toothbrush, it didn't matter. The time was going to go. And I had a bed, you had rack time. You know, you had to go to bed at a certain time every night because you had to be up so early in the morning. So that was overall tough. But I know a lot of people deal with, you know, having to, and look, and that's nothing because I was fortunate enough not to have to go to war because there was no war. Now, if I had to go to war, that would be a completely different answer. You know, but overall, I didn't have anything like tough, to be honest with you. Like, I changed my mindset early in boot camp. And from then, like, you couldn't fuck with me because I'd run until the cows came. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's hard, but.
So nothing.
So, like, nothing really was like.
What's your answer?
Like crazy. So, I don't know. Nothing. Not saying nothing. It's just.
Whatever.
You know, it's the unsure, right? It's. Everything that you don't like when you're like a private PFC Lance Corporal, or the things that make you like it when you're Corporal Sergeant. I got out of Sergeant, right? So when you're getting fucked with by the older Marines when you're a young Marine, you know, that's not fun, you know? But when you get to fuck with young Marines when you're an older Marine, or, you know, it's fun. So, but I was in from 98 to 02. We were not in any conflict. And it was like, it was literally, I went all these countries for training and this and that, but it wasn't a bad time. Like, I'm very fortunate, right? I'm very fortunate for that. So, yeah, it wasn't.
So the answer.
There wasn't anything hard. So
it was easy.
Physically hard. Boot camp's physically hard, yeah. You know?
I think everyone expects it to be like mentally hard, but I think you're trying to say that you outwitted their mind.
I wouldn't say I
games.
outwitted them, no, because believe me, it's just, it goes to a point like you would have people get so mad, and that's what breaks you down, because if one person like just does anything wrong, the entire platoon has to pay for it, right? You get time where that's how a lot of fights happen. That's how a lot of things, like bad things happen to people. It's like you fucking hurt the entire platoon. But so they do things that they're going to find something out of 90 people. Like, they go into it knowing that today they're going to hold their rifles up by the scope on their finger. And this is like a 6-pound rifle, so it's not a big deal, but hold it like that for a long time. And they know going in to that day that they're going to do that. They know going into the day that they're going to turn everybody's racks upside down, and they're going to take your footlocker, which has all your belongings, and they're going to dump them everything together. 90 people. They know they're going to do that. They're going to find somebody that does something wrong to make that happen. Like, they will fuck with you, and it will really annoy the piss out of you. But once you realize all they're doing is filling that time that they can't stop, it literally was a game changer. So it wasn't like I outwitted them, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's going to happen, so I might as well just embrace it. And
interesting.
It's, well, I don't know. All right, moving on.
When is the right time to hire your first employee?
When's the right time to hire your first employee? When you can afford it. No, just kidding. That's not the right answer. I don't know. I hope. What I did, I'll speak from what I did. and I guess I've hired a lot of people in my time, but it's not really the first employee matters, but every time you make a hire, it's a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really big decision, regardless if it's the first, second, or fifth. With me, Fiona tell you, like, I was going crazy. I was like, I had gotten starting our deal with Tyler, so I was gonna be going into the warehouse for, like, I started that 2 weeks before you joined.
Was it just 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was for the 2 weeks I was working from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it was like the boys got lucky as soon as I started working.
Mm-hmm.
You working from home anyway. But I got to the point where, like, I was just, my productivity had gone down, because you get to a point where the decisions you're making are more and more important and cost more and more money, that you need people to bounce off of. But I don't know if there's, because it's how bad do you need them? You know, like, I needed, like, and since you joined, holy shit, what's happened? You know, you've really helped us in a lot.
But it also comes down to that person needs to pay their bills, so it's
yeah.
a very
Well, that's the thing. You have to be able to.
Question, like, can you afford?
Well, yeah, you have to be able to afford, unless. Yeah. But at the same time, you don't want your first employee just to do it for money.
Ideally, no, but you know, reality.
Yeah, but like, it's just, you never know.
We got really lucky with me, and we got really lucky with Diana.
Well, what do you call luck? You know what I mean? I think putting ourselves in the position to need you at that time, and for you to have done what you could do to be able to make it happen, I wouldn't call that luck. I call it timing. And the same with Diana. You know what I mean? We are lucky that she walked into the place and saw our product,
mm-hmm.
but we've been doing the work, and it's still going to be hard work to keep her on board.
Patricc has this weird thing about luck. He doesn't like the word, so he likes to twist it and be like, it's, you know, timing.
Yeah,
and
I don't
work
like
and
luck.
this, and he takes it very, like, literal.
Yeah.
But it's not literal. When,
I know what you mean.
you know.
So yeah, I don't think there is, like, you know, it's just, you'll know, but you might not know, because it might not work out. You might have to let them go, or they might have to leave, or it's.
Which one of you guys, the guys that you listen to, is like, get comfortable with firing?
Oh, Gary.
Yeah.
And I think it's very true what he says, like, because you won't get it right. You know, you're not always going to hire the right person.
And having the wrong person on board is going to hurt you more.
Yeah. I believe, that's what my belief, and I read in one of the books this year, is it's about getting the right people on the bus, right? And that's what it's about getting the right people on the bus. And if the right people are on the bus, you can take the bus anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But and by the right people on the bus, they gotta want to be on the bus for the right reason, right? So that's when it's like, hey, you're gonna have to start doing this, right? You're going to have to start doing that. Shit that you didn't join that bus for. We're going to have to change your seats. We're going to have to move you here. We're going to have to do that. And as long as everybody on the bus is a team player and wants to be on that bus because they want to take that bus to that end destination, you wouldn't mind. Okay, today I'm going to have to drive. Today I'm going to have to whatever. Mm-hmm. And if you get the right people on the bus, that's what matters. So his point is bring people in, and if they don't work, fire them. The moment you have that feeling like, shit, I wish if I had it all over to do again, I wouldn't make the hire. The moment you have that, do both of them, yourself and them, a favor. But he also says, don't like try to get them another job. Like, say, hey, listen, I spoke to somebody. You're a better fit probably for them, so I'm going to refer you over there. Don't just try to like cut them.
That's not always possible.
It's not always possible, but it's something you're trying to say, like, listen, it's just not going to work here, right? And yeah, you know, who knows later on. So yeah, I think getting the right people on the bus is important for that reason. All right. Did I answer the question? What was the question?
Sort of, yeah.
Oh, the right time to hire your first employee. Yeah, you don't know. I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
The long answer, short answer.
Well, here, let me say this, because I think this is interesting. This is something I read probably 2 years ago. And they say, and it's like everybody's going to come up and say, oh, no, it's bullshit. But it's like, I think if you actually played this out over years and over thousands of employees, it might actually work best. But it's hard when you think about it on a single position. The theory is that if you interview, say you're going to interview 10 people or whatever for a position, and out of the first 4, no matter how good they are, you do not hire one of the first 4. What you do is you basically take an average of that, and then you hire the first person after that overall is better than all of those together.
Interesting. Assuming that you'll find someone.
Yeah, well, assuming, but they're saying you're going to get more of the chances of you finding somebody in the next 6 is just saying it's basically saying don't hire within the first 40% of the people that you interview.
But then
I know.
It sucks because what if I was in the first 40% and then I was like, but I was still qualified and I didn't get a job because there's this stupid rule in place.
I know, that says, right?
Don't hire in the first 40%.
But what happens if you were that 5th person or the 40%? So
is there an interview tactic now? When
no.
Do you want to come early this week to interview or later? I'd be like later.
I read this. I don't believe it. For me, I would want to be the first. I want to go in there and just fucking blow their pants off. Yeah, right?
Set the bar.
That's me, set the bar, period, right? I read this probably 2 years ago, and I really thought it was actually, no, it was longer than that. I read this when I was still at my last company.
I feel like you were talking about this super recently, a few weeks
ago.
Yeah,
because I think we were talking about hiring or something. But it's been years since I've read this, and I've never read it or heard it anywhere else.
Because it's not
working. So, I don't know. I don't know if anybody does it or whatever. But I think it's an interesting point, and I would love to know, if you're a manager or you hire people and deal with that. HR, I'd love to know if you've ever heard that. And obviously you wouldn't admit to me if you use that, because that would probably I'm sure you'd probably get in trouble for that.
It just sounds like it's a way to keep your excitement at bay, because you're just like, oh.
No, I think what they're doing, it's like I said, not on an individual position. I think though, if you looked at it over 1,000 positions, and if you played this model, I think it's more of a numbers thing. They're saying, well, there's odds are that of your first 4 people combined as their average of what their quality would be, you're going to find somebody that will individually be better than all of theirs, combined or whatever, and just take them. Go immediately. And if you do that over a long, sustained period of time, overall, you're going to lose some, but you're going to, will you win? It's better on 1,000 games to get a person with a 7 than to get a 10 every now and then and have a shitload of 3s, right? So they're playing, I think, averages. So obviously it's not going to make sense for a single position. But, I think it's interesting. I do. I really think it's interesting.
I'm not a fan of that.
And I'm not saying I'm a fan of it either. I've never used it. I never use it like that. I think I hire incorrectly, to be honest with you. Not incorrectly, I go with my gut. And I actually have never been, I don't have any burns that I have a scar from that I can recall off the top of my head, right? Mm-hmm. I've had to fire people, but I've hired a lot of great people. And when it comes to something serious, I go with my gut more than anything. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck about your resume. I don't care. I care about how hard you want to work and my gut. Because I feel I can, and that's why I tell you all the time. You get down sometimes, you're like, I'm not skilled at this. I don't have that skill. Babe, I want a hard worker and somebody that can learn. That's way more important than having somebody that's just smart and knows what the hell they're doing. Right? Because whatever they know is going to be obsolete one day. I want somebody that will work hard at learning. And
that's true. That that one statement you just said. Whatever they know is going to be obsolete one day.
Yeah, you need somebody that's going to learn and willing to learn. So, all right, moving on. Last question.
Yeah. How do you know when it's time to quit on an idea? Hint.
Wait.
Hint from
who sent that in? Was that from one of my frenemies?
Or one of your friends?
One of my friends.
Jay. No.
Yeah. How do you know when to quit? You know, if it was true that people could see into the future, right? That would be you would be able to answer that question.
Okay, let's give a real answer, not a. if I had.
What I'm saying is like, look, you know what's Kevin O'Leary say? If after 2 years you're not making money, take it, or 3 years, 2 to 3 years. If it's not making money, take it behind the barn and put a bullet in it. Right?
Do you believe that?
I don't believe.
Doesn't it also depend on like what
industry you're doing, what you're doing? I think it's within 2 to 3 years you have to prove a model that money can be made in it, right? There's got to be growth. And if there's not growth, then why is there not growth? And I think what too many people do, they want to make products or businesses that they like, as opposed to thinking about the customer and what the customer will like.
Or they're the only customer, their own customer, basically. It's like, if I like this, there's got to be people out there that like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you do that, and then you might just have a shitty business. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, there's people that went with their idea and plan, and it took them X amount of years. And are you talking about quitting on an idea or an overall? Because I've been in this industry. This is my 5th line that I've owned. And it's like, well, an idea, the first idea was a clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
So technically I quit on that, and, you know, it grew, but it would be easy to say, Patrick, go out and get a job. You're 37 years old. Isn't it time to give up? And to that, I would say no, because I know, like, I've got to go through all these trials and tribulations, go through all these failures to get to where I'm going. And I know that. But Tyler and I talk about this all the time. It's like, when do you know, right? Because it's like, you think, no, it's good, but then you could go down 3 years, and it's like, why the hell didn't I quit? Like, what was going on in my head?
Yeah.
So you don't know. All I say is just try to be self-aware. Try to be self-aware of, like, and be realistic about it. But I don't think you should just give up because of what people say.
But if you're like unable to be self-aware and you ask other people, don't just ask your friends and family, because they're definitely always by default going to support you no matter how crazy or stupid your idea is, right? So,
well, it depends. I've got a lot of friends that shit on every idea.
Yeah, but that's the type of friends you have. Like, especially if you're...
My friends shit on my ideas if they're not good.
I have a lot of friends who are super sweet. And, like, they've never said anything bad to me about anything I've ever done up until today.
They're not
and
friends.
It's just like,
they're not friends.
You guys just super sweet, or are you like...
They're not friends.
You know?
They're not friends.
Hey, FBNW is one of the things I ask, and so...
Hey, that's why I want you to be honest, so we can be better.
It's like me joining on board. I was like, what do you guys think? Should I? Like, should I not?
Well, yeah, well, that's, you know... Yeah, that's different. I figured they'd be like, hell no. But no, I'm glad they all are positive about it. Yeah, so just, it's really, is it realistic? Because
I mean, if you're living on the street, maybe you should probably think of dropping the idea. And
I just don't think there's any number of, like, there's so many variables that go into it. So that's what matters. Like, well, like, once again, what industry, what are you doing? What's your financial situation? You know, what's your support group? There's a lot of things that can go into it. But if you really think you have a good idea, just fucking go. Because you don't want to look back when you're 60 or 80 and be like, man, why didn't I give that a go?
I feel like we were like not very helpful with that question.
Yeah, I know.
This person's just like,
because I can't tell you. Like, I have no idea, and I don't want to like. I honestly like.
You just don't want to tell someone to quit on their dream.
Because too many people have told me to quit. You know what I mean? I've heard it too many times, and it's like you're just mad. Once again, you're probably mad because you didn't have the balls to try. You know, and that's why you're giving me that because you're insecure because you didn't do what you wanted to do, right? So,
well, as long
not
as
all. I'm just saying, like, so I'm sorry I didn't give you that much help on that.
I think as long as you're not homeless, you can figure some way to bum couch surf or something to that point. And if you have to do something on the side to make it work, then that's what you got to do if you really believe in it. That's about it.
It's really what's your why?
Unless it's like, I don't know, unless some people are straight up just like, this is freaking ridiculous. Like some really outlandish idea.
Yeah, it's like,
you know,
like I grew up wanting to be be a baseball player. I wanted to be in the major leagues, but I realized in high school that I just wasn't. It wasn't gonna happen, right? So I was realistic. I was like, I don't have the arm strength. I don't have the speed. Like I'm good at high school level, right? College, I could play probably junior college ball. I wasn't gonna get Division I. Division II, probably not. Mm-hmm. And I could have done a whole lot more work, but it was too much. It was like, I gave up my dream early because I was realistic. If I wanted to be in the NFL, no. I'd love to be in the NFL. Definitely is not going to happen. So once again, it depends on your freaking dream.
Yeah.
And so
again, not very helpful.
Yeah, not very helpful. But at least I'm fine with not being helpful as long as I'm being honest. So, yeah. You
guys' choice of asking us
questions. This is a great question. Anyway, so updates. Veterans Day was yesterday. And
Marine Corps birthday was
Marine Corps birthday was on Friday. So I got 3 veterans meals this week total weekend. I was very happy about that. And we got our October food drop video is out.
Photos and videos up on the food drop page. Check that out.
Go check it out. The video is really, really cute.
And then Toys for Tots still going on promo. So don't forget to shop until December 8th so that we double our giving. So we're giving a bag of groceries and a new toy.
And a new
Toys for Tots.
To Toys for Tots. So, yeah.
And we just got approached to be a part of Spark of Love this year. So December 1st, it's locked in stone, so we can say December 1st will be a part of their Stuff a Bus event in Cerritos. So we're going to be on ABC 7.
Yeah, we'll be giving $1,000 worth of toys to the calls, which will get trickled down to Toys for Tots, which will be different than it's different than our online campaign. That's completely
totally
different than
separate.
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that. And they're going to be interviewing me, and
they'll just ask you about what you're doing for Spark of Love, which is your donation. FBNW, what we do for the community, and our partnership with Toys for Tots, because ABC 7's giving annual giving thing is Spark of Love, which is so affiliated with the firefighters, but they recently absorbed Toys for Tots, which is the organization we're working with on our own on the side. So they're like, oh, what a coincidence! You guys can talk about that too. So they're all part of the Disney family, and so there's a big tie in there.
So it's going to be good. So, all right, I think that's all we got, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys again. And remember, you can submit your questions at ask@fbnw.us. And until next time, ta-da.
Ta-da.
Is that bye? I don't know.
That's in British ta-da.